middle school can seem to start at the top, and then for some reason it slowly starts tapering down. But today I want to talk about some thoughts that might help you see it level out and come out on the top. Welcome to Learning with Boys. My name is Rachel. I am a homeschool mom. I am down to my last middle schooler, and I have 4 boys. I've graduated 3, and I have an 8th grader this school year. So I'm really thinking about this final year and just wanted to share some thoughts that I hope will help and encourage you if you are preparing for your first middle schooler, or if you're like me and on your last. So I know middle school is sort of this stage we would say is the logic stage. They sort of begin to understand and comprehend why you are making the decisions that you're making. And when they ask questions, they want more of an analytical answer, something that will give logic and deeper thought than just your basic, this is what it says. But they seem to still be stumbling with their discernment and decision making. I feel like this is not just the time to work on their academic tools, but also to be aware and sensitive to their spiritual needs. So yes, this is also going to be the time where they sort of test the waters. They want to know what you truly stand for. So we better know those answers too and be ready to stand firm and be compassionate and loving at the same time. If you think elementary flew by, in middle school, it's actually flying with an engine, and in high school, it's lightning speed. So it is only 3 years if you're counting 6th grade. So it is a short span of time that you have with this stage. So during that middle school season, you as the parent being observant to some particular things will help. So let's talk about academics first. Now, I know a lot of kids by this age, you are seeing specific interests that they might have. Maybe they are doing really well in a particular subject. Maybe they do well in all subjects. You may have heard as they enter middle school to think about intensifying the curriculum to prepare them for high school. Before you do this, I really want to suggest that you explore options, but also at the same time as something's working, to maybe continue with that. What do I mean when I say explore options? Maybe your son or daughter is very interested in science and you think that that's probably the field that they're going to go into. This might be the time to explore the curriculum that is a little bit more advanced and maybe pick something that would challenge them in that area. And it's funny what you'll discover at that age when you decide to do that. You may discover they love it and they love the challenge and they want more books and they actually enjoy school because of that particular subject. But you may find out through that advanced program that they're not as interested as they thought they were. And I'm going to encourage you that middle school is the time to do that. So I am not saying that you need to go by advanced curriculum for every subject. I'm talking about a specific subject that they really enjoy and that they do seem to comprehend and understand it more in depth than most. So that would be the curriculum that, yes, go ahead and try an advanced curriculum for them to see. And I'll tell you why. Now is the time to do it, middle school, before they are in high school. And then you decide, okay, we're in high school. We need the most advanced curriculum we can find. And then that's when the grades really count and the credits really count and they're challenged and discouraged. Entering 9th grade is not a season that you really want to play around with curriculum. It would really help that you had a little bit more knowledge before they actually hit the 9th grade of what is going to work for them. So really that's what I mean by explore. This is the season that you could really explore what they're interested in. Try a couple different curriculums if needed. Maybe what you're using is working so well and it's their favorite and they want to stay with it. So just use discernment in that. There's also other options that you could explore. Say they really do well at math and they seem to be advanced. They're in 7th and 8th grade and already doing algebra. Maybe you can look in to see if there's some local math competitions. Also, language arts. I know there's writing competitions out there. I see that all the time in the homeschool world. So Just some things like that that would make school a little bit more challenging and fun at the same time. Okay, what if they're on the other extreme and they're really struggling in a subject? I have 4 boys, so I've seen struggles in all different subjects through the middle school years. And I would definitely not take that opportunity to pick a challenging curriculum. That's not going to help them. This is the years that you want to help them advance in those weaknesses. You may need to backtrack. And I know that's really, really hard. I know it's hard for me, and I've had to do it with a couple different subjects, different kids. But I'm glad I did. Now, homeschooling middle school is a lot of work, and it takes a lot of patience. But as they enter high school and you've conquered some of those challenges, you'll see growth much quicker than if you didn't handle them in middle school. So, is it too late? No, it's not too late. If you're homeschooling still, even if they're entering 9th or 10th grade, you can still work on things. But I will encourage you, and I'm thinking if you're watching a middle school video, you either have one going into middle school or you have a middle schooler. So that's why I want to encourage you now to not let that go by. So I have had one who actually struggled with reading. And I will tell you that I sort of knew that. I worked slowly with him. I read a lot. We are a read aloud family, but even listening to books was not his favorite thing to do. He really didn't have a lot of interest, so that made it a little bit challenging. Now, every family is going to be different. He was a third of the boys, so his older brothers did read. They read, they collected information. They knew a lot just from reading, not always just the curriculum. So they actually, I'm sorry, but yes, boys will be harsh with their words. They want to tell you how it is, especially the oldest, and then the second will join in, telling him that you're missing out. You should know these things by now. They were talking about history, actually, and really, it was things they learned just from reading. And as a mom, I wanted to be sensitive, but I knew they were right. And I actually talked to my son later about it, just trying to encourage him that they see the importance of having the knowledge so you can make better decisions in your life. And that's why it's important to read. So we discussed that a little bit, and I feel like a light bulb did go on. And he was willing to work and make an effort. So through those middle school years, we really worked on his reading and his comprehension all the way through 9th grade. And I feel like 10th grade is when it really started to click, and just that discernment and understanding really started happening, and understanding the information that he was collecting was going to help him make better decisions. So we had to step back a little bit and start a little bit younger in our reading levels of books and comprehension, but that was okay. And that was early on in the middle school. So I will tell you that. Now, he still is not a reader. He does enjoy audiobooks, a variety of different kinds. So I'm very thankful for that, because even back then, it wasn't even that he enjoyed that. So he is more open and willing to collect information now. So I'm very thankful for that. Now, if you've watched my videos, you know that my youngest, which is in 8th grade, really struggles with math. Like I said, I've had a variety of different struggles through the years. And that was something I seen a weakness in. He is pretty advanced reader. He loves to write. He doesn't mind learning about science, but he was really struggling with that math. And I wasn't seeing any progression by the end of 6th grade. I really just thought if I took my time and helped him, things would start to click. And I thought, as he was entering 7th grade, it was in 7th grade where it was like, okay, Rachel, you are here in 7th grade. And I know this is my 4th one. I know how fast this time flies by. So I really, really prayed about it. And the Lord did give me a different curriculum. We're trying a different curriculum altogether. And I really feel like that is helping. Now, that you may have to pick a different option. You may need to get a tutor. I've never gone to that extent, but I would if I needed to. Math is sort of my subject, so it's not that I have a problem of teaching it. So I think that's why I've never gone that direction. So I feel like we are at least advancing for sure. And I will definitely be talking about and giving you updates on not just his other curriculum, but definitely his math in an upcoming video soon. So this is those years to really work on those subjects they need help with. And it is hard when you have several children, whether older or younger, because it is going to take some time, but it is worth it. Like I said, homeschooling, middle school, homeschooling in general takes a lot of time and patience. It's a full-time job. So I just want to encourage you with that, because I feel like, I know as a homeschool mom, you get that look of like, what do you do? I know you're busy. I know that. I understand. So, but it is worth taking that extra time, even if it's setting aside a subject with your younger child. Maybe you could just do science a few days a week instead of every day. Even with your middle schooler, maybe they're fine with science. You can just do it a few days a week and focus on that subject that really needs help. So let's talk about the spiritual aspect. This is a time they're really going to have a lot of questions. And like I said at the beginning of the video, you really need to know where you stand, because this is going to be a time of growing and sanctification for you as the parent. And you need to be ready. The Bible tells us we need to be ready to give an answer. And we just really need to have a firm foundation for ourselves and know where we stand on things and have decisions already made, so we can be a help and encouragement to them. A couple of things that I feel like are important through these years: there are moods, there is discouragement, and it might be related to school. It might be something we don't even know what's going on, but we need to be praying for our children, praying for wisdom and discernment on how to deal with situations. I know kids sometimes will get upset and want to go and be alone. I encourage you, don't let that be too long. Let them have a minute. Let them cool down. You pray about it, and then make sure that you bring them back in, because I know if you leave them there too long to sulk, that's really when the devil really wants to attack and give them discouragement, make them go against you and things that you're saying. So really just pray about it. Give them a few minutes. Make sure you bring them back into the family, and whether maybe they do need it a little time, but just encourage them, pray with them, let them know you're praying with them, give them a verse. Maybe you don't even know what's wrong, but give them a verse from the Lord that's encouraging, that would help them. And, sometimes you have to be a little blunt, but I know for my boys, I'm not sure about girls, but I know for my boys, it needs to be short, sweet, and to the point. And again, let them have a few minutes, but don't let them be alone for too long. Bring them back out. So I just want to encourage you with that. I've seen that a couple times, and sometimes they are okay. And once you've said their spiel, they just needed to hear that encouragement, and they're good. And they just will finish their schoolwork or do whatever they need to do. Maybe just go outside. Sometimes just being outside is a good thing also. I do also want to mention life skills, because I do feel like this is a season where you really want to encourage. And I'm not just talking about laundry and dishes. I'm talking about being respectful to authority, knowing how to work with others, learning how to communicate. And I know I've had one that was very introverted and the middle school years are awkward anyways. It's really hard. But so be patient. Don't be forceful about some things. Just ask the Lord for discernment about that. But it does come around. It may be later on in high school, but it will come around. So I remember one time for one of my boys, we were doing the deep cleaning. It was probably fall cleaning, and we were doing outside windows. So I said, hey, we're going to do it this way. I'm going to be your customer. I'm hiring you. And I am going to tell you exactly what I want. I'm going to point out things, and then you're going to do the job. I'm going to come and double check and pay you accordingly. So I wanted them to think about that, soak that in. This wasn't just a job for mom. This was for the customer. How would I want to do it? I would be hoping that they would want to do their best. So that's just another idea. There's all kinds of ways that you can teach them life skills and responsibilities. So All right, I am going to stop there. And I do plan on sharing updates on my middle schooler, but I also have to plan for his high school. That's something else that we will do as middle school parents. We will start thinking about high school. We just will. But helping them through and bringing them where they need to be to enter those years is our goal also. So I will be sharing. I thought, I wonder if I could just bring you along in my planning for that. I have a lot in my mind and I need to get it on paper. So maybe we'll do something like that. But all right, I do appreciate you watching. I really do hope this was helpful. If you have any other thoughts or ideas or questions, I would love to chat with you below. Leave a comment. So, all right, I hope you all have a wonderful week and we will talk to you again soon.